Hello? Hello? Okay, there we go, there we go. Sorry about that. I forgot to set up my thing, but hello, welcome. We are about to begin shortly. I just got to make a few quick preparations, but hello, welcome. So in today's stream, hold up. Oh my god, please don't. Okay. I'll see how this runs, but already my internet is acting up. First off, I want to apologize about that yesterday, that I had to cut stream abruptly because basically, like, the internet has been acting up in a weird way. And it was because of like my brother was setting something up, so that's why it was like acting up. But it should be fine now. So what we're gonna do is I wanna work on some art, and we're gonna talk a little bit more because, as you guys know, today is Pokemon Day, and today they had the Nintendo, not Nintendo Direct, the Pokemon Presents that they always do on Pokemon Day every day. And at the end of it, they actually showed off the first look of the Gen 10 Pokemon game, which is going to be called Pokemon Winds and Pokemon Waves, or Winds and Waves. And they also showed off the 3 starter Pokemon, like the new starter Pokemon. And I was like, I have to draw them. Like, everybody else has already done it, but I have to draw them. So as usual, we're gonna be going on to the art screen. I am gonna switch over. Actually, I'm gonna switch over. Okay, first off, I need to do a little bit of setting up, so excuse me. Don't mind me. First off, let's put some music on. Where did I put the music? Right here. We're gonna put some Pokemon music. I think, okay, let me just set something up. So again, apologies. Let's do a quick audio check. Just make sure the audio is good. Put some, okay. Now I think this, okay, I think this volume should be fine. There we go. I was like, we have to put some Pokemon music. Okay, and then one last thing I gotta add. I'm just gonna do this real quick, don't mind me. There we go. All right. So yeah, now we are going to, yeah, we're gonna work on that. So let me just get this set up. Okay, music is good. All right, and then I'm taking this from the Twitter of, okay. Oh, that is huge. Okay, let me shrink that down. We don't need it to be that huge. Okay, this should be fine. So yeah, we are going to be working on drawing, or rather I'm going to be drawing the 3 new starter Pokemon. Hold up. Okay. All right, I have to get one more quick thing. So I apologize, ladies and gentlemen. It's just, okay, where did I put it? It should be around here. Okay. Give me one quick second. My pen, okay, so I need a maybe I should I need to get a pen that actually doesn't like run out of battery. Give me one sec. Okay, I'm actually gonna put the BRB, so give me one sec. Okay, sorry about that. I had to get a thing. I think now it should work. Okay, perfect. I had to find the controller. Also, if you hear the dog barking, that's my dog. But yeah, okay. Now we can finally focus. Finally, we can actually focus on drawing these 3 new starter Pokemon. And I kind of wanted to talk a little bit more about kind of my thoughts on them. Specifically, my thoughts on like overall the new Pokemon game. Like, or rather just what we see so far, because I will say, okay, let me set this up. So like, for the most part, like we only got to see just a little bit of the next game. So we didn't get to see a lot, but we did get to kind of get a feel of it. So already right off the bat, so first off, for people that don't know, apparently like the next game is going to be exclusive to Switch 2, which I know there were some people kind of hoping that it would be on both, which I was wondering if they're going to do that. But given what happened with Scarlet and Violet, I actually think it being on Switch 2 exclusive might be the better call, because I feel like Scarlet and Violet was ultimately a case of like the game itself had like the game itself had a lot of good ideas and was a good step in the right direction, but sadly it just was like, I think the hardware limitation of the Switch kind of was messed with it a lot. And you know what surprised me? What really surprised me about this Wind and Waves is that it's coming out next year. It's not coming out this year, it's coming out next year. And I've already made a post about this, but even if people complain about that, personally I'm actually okay with them like taking their sweet ass time with this game. Like the fact that they're willing to actually be like, no, you know what, let's actually take our time with it. It's like, damn, like finally, but damn, I'm glad y'all are taking it. But yeah, no, I'm actually like excited. I'm actually looking forward to it. Like I really am looking forward to that. And honestly, I've grown to love all these starters. Immediately I saw what's it called, Pombon, and I'm just like, oh my god, puppy, doggy. Like I was like, I need that dog. I need this guy right here, like this cutie right here. But like honestly, the other two, I really like elements. Like I actually like the birds, like little, like the little leaves look like the angry eyebrows. That's so fucking cute. And then like I really like the purple eyes on the gecko. Oh my god, I had an idea, but I'm not sure if I'll draw it for this stream. But I'm kind of tempted to do it where it's like, what if I made like really cursed concepts of like the possible final evolutions, because I love the dog, but knowing Nintendo, it's gonna, I have a feeling it's not gonna stay on 4 legs for long. Like I'm like, oh, I'll love it anyways, because you know, a mother loves their son even if their son is low-key kind of ugly. But like I'm like Nintendo, please, like let us have a 4-legged. It's funny because in the previous game, when you think about it, it's kind of funny too, because in the previous game, Fuecoco starts off as a bipedal and then it ends up being a quadruped. So I just think it's interesting. Okay, yeah, this I can work with. I'll put the opacity a little bit. Yep. It's like Fuecoco starts off as a quadruped and ends up being like, I mean, he starts off as a bipedal and then ends up as a quadruped, which I think is kind of interesting. So, but honestly, I really hope that they lean towards like, oh, this one being more of like they keep it like quadruped, but we'll see. I had an idea for doing just like a really cursed concept, but like I said, we'll have to take a look. We'll have to see what they do. But also another thing too is like, you know, given like what we see in the trailer with the water and shit, which by the way, it's like, damn, the water actually be looking like crazy though. Like damn, like it actually looks like really, really like, it's like crystal clear. But also what I notice about the water in there is like, I'm thinking like, are we gonna be able to like go scuba diving? Because judging by the way like we see that underwater and everything, and given that one of the titles is literally Pokemon Waves, I'm thinking like, are we gonna be going like under like scuba diving, like diving underwater? Like that, I'm actually like, yo, that's some crazy stuff. That's like, that I actually would be interested. That would actually be a different mechanic. I was even thinking about like how like if we get that for waves, what about winds? And then I remember that in Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire, if you have Mega Latios or Latias, you could fly into the air. That was like an ability, a feature you could do. And honestly, they did something like that too in like Scarlet and Violet and Legends Arceus. So I'm like, shit, like I'd be down for that. Like, oh my gosh. I'm like also referencing like something I've done before, because I want to do something that will match the style. Okay. All right, I'm actually gonna expand this canvas just a little bit. This one, I'll see how this stream ends up. Because this might end up being like, oh, you know what? I'm just like adjusting like the layers a bit. Okay. Thankfully, this is something I could do relatively easy. Okay. All right, so we already got the first starter. Oh my god. Okay, time to draw like the little angry burb. Wait, I need something a little darker. Actually, how did I draw that? How did I draw Torchic? He's like kind of like orb. Okay, I'm trying to think. Wait. All right, getting a little thing. We gotta make him a little floofy. How do I do? Okay, I'll have to wait, hold up. Let me see if I shrink this part down. Okay. And then we gotta do the gecko. You know, I've been seeing people say that gecko. I've been seeing people say a lot of ideas of like what the starters are gonna be, but I've been seeing people say that the gecko. Uh-oh, I think the internet might be a little burk. I've been seeing people say that the gecko, like, looks like it's heading into Salazzle territory, and it's like, fuck, I can kind of see it. Like, she got the eyelashes, the nails. It's like, yo, like, what if she becomes a diva? What if she evolves into a diva? If this ends up into like, if this does lead into like the freaking like anthropomorphic, like all fours territory, it's like, yo, what if Girly Pop ends up like Girly Pop's gonna turn into like a freaking she's gonna turn into like a freaking like, it's like gonna be just water Salazzle. I do love her eyes though. She has like really adorable, she has really nice eyes. Might have to adjust like the sizes of these. I was thinking of like doing something like kind of cursed, but I think I'm gonna just focus on these guys for now. So I think tonight I kind of want to like, I did want to like stream a little. I also, before at the end, I'm gonna talk a little bit more about like, I was meaning to do this yesterday, but I'm not gonna lie, this was like hella fun, like absolutely fun game. Okay, I want to make sure that her... I swear, like, the more I look at... What's her name? Okay, so if I recall... Wait, what's the names of these starters? It's, if I recall, their names are Brout, Pombon, and Gekwa. No, it's Gecko Aqua. Gekwa. Gekwa is what I think it's pronounced. Gekwa. Yeah, no, this is leaning into like like I feel like that part of like being like water type Salazzle is like, nah, like don't even joke. Like that's gonna be the thing. Water type Salazzle is like, nah, that's going to actually happen. I don't want to make the body a little teeny weeny. Actually, let me fix... I might fix these guys up a little bit. All right, I'm just gonna fix these guys up a bit. There we go. Hold on, I'm gonna move this guy a bit. You know what? I know what he needs. I know what he needs. No. All right, he needed to be a little bit more chunkier. There we go. All right. All right, I need to actually expand this a bit. Okay. Oops, that's not what I meant to do. Oh, you know what? Let me do this. I gotta save. Gotta make sure to save, boys and girls. Pokemon Winds and Waves. Gen 10 starters. There we go. Alright. I think this guy is pretty much fine. I just gotta like make him a little bigger. There we go. I don't want to make her head a little bigger. And her tail big. Because she has a big tail. Alright, there we go. There we go. Alright, so these are the initial sketch. Let me just... Okay, so now we're gonna move on to... We're gonna move on to the secondary sketch. And this is where things get a little bit more detailed. This is where the ideas come in. Oh. Okay. Sorry, I was like double checking some stuff. Okay. All right, let's get the fiery guy in. I'm just gonna do this. Okay. actually, you know what? Let's take this. Alright, I know this is not the exact eyes, but this is actually for a very specific style. This is for a very specific style I have in mind. Okay. I gotta give the doggy the big old smile. Oh, I love this music. It's so cute. Alright, gonna put this little guy in. See, I saw this dog and it's like so cute and adorable, but now my thought is like, oh god, what like what is your final evolution? Are you gonna turn into some kind of like look, I don't mind like the bipedal like anthropomorphic look. But I'm like, I just want this guy to be like a big fiery Poochie, you know? It's like, oh god, like I'm just thinking like I don't mind it. I'm just hoping like they do something, because I've seen some people, another thing, like I haven't seen people talk too much about this, but I've been curious about what the region is gonna be based off of. My initial thought, because I see like it's tropical. It's tropical. There's what appears to be like some kind of a rainforest / jungle. There's a emphasis on the ocean. There are those huts. So my first thought is like okay, I'm probably gonna have to do something about the back of that, but don't worry, I can fix that. My first thought was like, oh, what if it takes place like in Latin America or like South America? That was my idea. And then I also thought of like maybe Africa, or maybe like I then thought of Australia. But then I saw comments on people saying that, oh, it seems like the place might actually take place in like, it might take place in like something like Southeast Asia, like the Philippines. And I'm like, oh, you know what, that's a good point. Like I was thinking tropical, like near like oceany, but then people pointed out that there's supposedly like a feel of rice paddies, and I'm like, oh shit, wait, you're right, it could be based off of the Philippines. Especially because I'm curious to know what they didn't show like they didn't show off the box legendaries, so that's like another thing, like who are the box legendaries? I mean, I could definitely see like them like basing it off of maybe like deities or like mythos of like, you know, it like legends and stuff. Well, I mean, not legends, but you know what I mean. Okay, this isn't going to be 100% accurate. But yeah, I'm very curious about that. And again, I'm like thinking to myself, like, are we gonna be able to go scuba diving? Because the fact that we get to see the underwater and the corals, and then there's Pokemon, it's like, no, there has to be like a mechanic like that, like going scuba diving. Also, it's interesting seeing in the beginning part the two Pikachus, like the, what's it called, Mr. Windy Chew and Mrs. Wavy Chew. That's like so fucking cute. That's like actually cute names. And I'm like, I wonder what their plan, I wonder like what their role is. My personal theory is that your character, like the thing I'm thinking of is like maybe your character is like on like some kind of a program trip, but they're like, it's like, or either that or some kind of like a vacation to a region that's like, okay, well, it's a region that also has like a Pokemon League, but maybe they're also part of some kind of a program where like you have to explore like a little bit in depth with this. Like maybe it could be like similar to how in Scarlet and Violet there were like the 3 plots. There was the you know, the gym challenge, there was the Team Star plot, and then there was the Arvin plot of the story. So maybe they have something like that in this game as well. So that's something I'm like curious about. Like I wonder if that's gonna be part of like the story. One thing I'm kind of hoping for, I was actually telling my cousin about this the other day, I kind of hope that they give us like a little bit more of an incentive to like explore, because I feel like I don't mind the I think Scarlet and Violet was a one step in the right direction with like the open world, and I really do want them to keep it open world, but I hope there's like more incentive to like do like a bit more in-depth exploring, because I feel like the previous game, sorry, I was like blowing my nose. I feel like the previous game, again, they were in the right, wait, no, that was actually perfect. They were in like the step in the right direction, but I feel like, again, given the performance thing, and just also like I feel like they needed a little bit more with it. So I'm like I really am hoping we get to see more kind of more incentives, you know, like maybe there's like quick time events or something that could happen. That's something I would like to see. I hope we have like more like side activities, maybe even like a mini game kind of thing. Like that's something I feel like is missing. But again, I will say I'm very happy. Like again, I've said this I am actually very much on board, like down with the idea of like, oh, waiting until 2027 to get the game. Like I'm actually on board with that, because like I feel like that actually shows that they're trying to like actually put time in it. And it's like, and actually surprisingly most people online even agree. Like you want to know something? The funny thing is, I was kind of low-key expecting, like, you know, it's internet, you know, it's Twitter, you know how these people are. But weirdly enough, like there hasn't been as much discourse about this. Like a lot of people are agreeing on the whole, like a lot of people are also agreeing on the whole, like having the game, like a lot of people are also agreeing on like the whole like waiting until 2027. So I'm glad that I'm not the only one. I'm glad I'm not the only one that like hold on. So I'm glad I'm not the only one that like feels that, you know, like Like it seems like this is like one of the like this Gen 10, like surprisingly, like I think this gen, yeah, like I haven't seen a lot of discourse. Like you know, there's probably like one or two people complaining and shit, but like I feel like most people, like on top of like a lot of people loving the starters, like I feel like these set of starters are like a lot of people love all three of them. Like they don't like there doesn't seem to be like I guess I don't know. I guess it comes out to between like the bird and the lizard being like, well, I mean, I don't know. I've even seen people defend the bird and the lizard. So that's what I'm saying. Like usually there's that one starter that's kind of like the ugly one, but it seems like everyone, well, you know, maybe you see the bird as that, but like, I don't know. Everybody's also kind of embracing. I feel like a lot of people are also kind of embracing these little guys more. So it's like, that makes me happy. But yeah, no, so far the reception online that I've been seeing has been like not just the memes of the dog and the starters, but also just like a lot of people really are excited and looking forward to Gen 10. And I think part of it is like graphically it's an improvement from Scarlet and Violet and even ZA. And on top of that, the fact that they're spending more time, you know, notoriously Pokemon is known for quote unquote rushing the games with like the deadline to meet like the deadline of every 3 or 4 years, but here they're actually taking their sweet ass time, and I'm all for that. Like and if it is coming out like in if the games are going to be coming out in November of 2027, that's even longer. So it's like I'm down for that. Like I'm so okay with that. Alright, gotta get his little floof. All right, there we go. Oh, you know what? Hold up. Actually, let me redo that. Okay, there we go. All right. All right, there he is, the big boy. And now we gotta do the lizard. I'm just gonna fluff him up a bit. Again, yo, that lizard, what if that lizard turns into like a... I'm still thinking about that comment about like, what if she turns into like female Salazzle? And I'm like, bruh. Like, bruh, really? Oh, oh god. What did I do, Snivy again? I'm like looking for a reference. Okay. Welcome on in. Welcome on in. My name is Heron Mari. It's nice to meet you. Welcome on in, Cheese Dragon Otter. I am currently doing a sketch, just some art of the newly announced starter Pokemon. Welcome on in. Just so you know, I also happen to be on both Twitch and on YouTube. So, and I also have like a few accounts, so you know, feel free to check it out. I'm just like doing this little cute art of the starter Pokemon. I really love Ponbon. I love the doggy. I'm like, oh, I love the doggy. So I'm like, but honestly, I also really dig all the designs of these three. I'm like talking about how like somebody online was saying how like the gecko is like heading into like Salazzle territory, and it's like, oh no, oh god. It's like, what if that's what she ends up? It's like, oh girl. Oh god. I hope you are having a good Friday. All right. Okay, let's do her head. Oh no, hold up. I gotta fix this. Also, before I end stream, I'm probably gonna finish up this sketch and then just like wrap it up, because I'm not gonna lie, I am feeling a little bit tired, but I do want to say a few things before we end stream. I'm just gonna finish this up, and then we're gonna have like a quick chat about what's gonna come to March, because I gave myself like, if it ended up looking like it would be cool if it ended up looking like Salazzle. See, I'm like thinking, because you know, Pokemon in the last few gens, they kind of had the reputation to lean the starters into like anthropomorphic territory. So like, you know, you've had like in the previous gen, Sprigatito turn into Meowscarada, and even what was another example? I'm trying to think, even like Litten became Incineroar. And on the one hand, I'm not against like that idea entirely, but I feel like for a lot of people, I think like, you know, like for example, I've even joked about how like Fuecoco is kind of the opposite, where it's like they start as bipedal. See, I feel like the gecko Pokemon, I could kind of see them going both ways. Same with the bird. But like, I feel like what a lot of people would love for the dog is to like kind of stay as like, just become, you know, somebody said how like the dog should just be like this giant, like almost Chow Chow inspired fire dog. And I'm like, oh, that would be such a nice concept. Again, it comes down to what their plans are, because you know, most Pokemon games give the starters like two types, like dual types. So I guess it comes down to like what they plan to do. because the last game, Skeledirge was actually like fire ghosts, which I think, as far as starter Pokemons go, I think, wait, I'm trying to remember, but I don't think we had a fire ghost Pokemon. We mainly had like either firefighting, I'm trying to remember. Yeah, like we mainly had like firefighting, and then Incineroar is technically fire dark. So it's like, yeah. Oh yeah, and I guess fire flying for like Charizard, but I am curious if they might do something a little bit different. Maybe like fire fairy type. I think fire fairy already exists as a typing, but I could definitely see a starter but it would be interesting to see fire fairy in like a starter Pokemon. Actually, wait, I could see that working with these three, because if the dog becomes fire fairy, okay, I'm trying to think. We had a grass poison too. Yeah, like I'm trying to think, because fire fairy for the dog, and then the gecko, because it's water type, I could see maybe like water poison, or even like, I don't know, they could throw a curveball and be like water steel. And then the bird would have to be grass. And I'm trying to think, like, what is strong against poison? Because poison, okay, or, well, poison steel. Wait, poison steel also could work. Either poison steel or poison, no, sorry, grass steel or grass psychic. Grass psychic, well, I think they've, wait, have they done grass psychic? I'm trying to think. My brain is not braining right now. I'm like, wait, that's actually a good question. Wait, no, of course, Meowscarada. Yeah, Meowscarada is grass psychic. Okay, never mind. I guess it could be, well, to be fair, grass steel. Oh, but that's like weak against ice though. Well, either that or maybe like something or something. That's actually a good idea. That's like something to explore. I'm like thinking like, what could their potential secondary types be? Either way, I am excited for this game. Like, I actually, like, I'm glad that they're taking extra time with it. And as I mentioned earlier, I actually think it's a good call for them to like release it as a Switch 2 exclusive, just because of like, I feel like the hardware, it's like one of those things where it's like, I know it's mainly just because for like the hardware stuff, so it's like I'm looking forward to it. If they all switch types, you know, funny enough, now that you mention it, I am curious what the gimmick of this game is gonna be. Like, what is gonna be the gimmick? Because we've had like terrestrialization, which changes types, but now I'm curious about like what's gonna be like the gimmick of the game. Like, what's gonna be like the thing? I actually am curious like what they plan to do in regards to that. Oh my god, Pokemon Mystery Dungeon. You know, I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little sad that we didn't get another Mystery Dungeon game, but you know what? This kind of gives me the excuse to like maybe one day. One game I really want to play that I've never had the chance to play is I've never had the chance to play. I play in terms of Mystery Dungeon, the only games I played was Blue Rescue Team for the DS, and then the remake version that came out a while ago for the Switch. But one of the games that everyone and their mom says is like the best of the series is Explorers of Sky, and I've actually, funny enough, never had a chance to play Explorers of Sky, but I really want to. And I actually already have a setup for it. I just got to give myself the time to do it. But I've really wanted to play Explorers of Sky. Because I've heard nothing but good praises from it. I love Mystery Dungeon. Oh my god, I do. I love the concept of it. Yeah, Explorers of Sky. I've never played it, but I've wanted to. Like, that's something I want to try to do this year, is do like a stream of like Explorers of Sky. Also, since you're new here, just to get to know me a little bit, I mean, you can probably tell from my model, but there are 3 things I really love. Wait, what was the things I wrote down? Oh my god, hold up. Okay, basically the only 3 things you need to know about me is I really love Sonic the Hedgehog, I really love Pokemon, and I really love drawing. That's pretty much all you need to know about me. Like, so yeah, like those are like, I have a lot of games I really love to play. I grew up playing a lot of Nintendo games. I also played a lot of like online games. I really like a lot of, like, excuse me, like, I like a lot of games that are like, how do I explain this? I like a lot of storybook-esque games. Like, I love Paper Mario. I like Fantasy Life. I'm trying to think of another series. Hold on, I did a thing for this. Here, actually, let me open this up. This is actually a perfect time to open this up. I actually did this right before I debuted my 2.0. But this is literally like, these are like my top, not even like my top 10 games, but this is for the meme, like 10 games to get to know me. And yeah, these are like, this is like my aesthetic in a nut. This is like a general gist of like, this is everything I like in a nutshell. Like, if you've ever played any of these games, like this is like my taste in a nutshell. And there's like way more games I would put it in here, but it's like I would go on forever. But yeah, I actually made this like right before I debuted my 2.0, which I actually did it back in December. You know, now that we have the actually, you know what I just realized? Now that we have the we've done the Pokemon Direct, I wonder, and the Pokemon Presents, I wonder when we're getting like an actual Nintendo Direct, like I know we just got the third party one, but I mean like straight from Nintendo, like the Nintendo, like straight up Nintendo Direct, like true Nintendo Direct. Cause the last one was more of like for just like third parties. But like I'm like actually what I'm curious about is like when are we getting like the Direct? All right, I gotta shrink her fingies down just a little bit. Okay. I'll probably have to move her just a little bit, but whoop. All right. And with that, we have the kind of the color scheme so far. I'm just gonna move her just a little bit. I might actually make her head a little bit bigger. Just making some final adjustments. Okay, there we go. Okay, I think that looks a lot better. Let me actually... Okay, I'm like trying to make it look a little bit more visually aesthetic. Okay. All right. I'm just gonna adjust one last thing here. Okay. All right, and with that, yeah, we basically have, this is like a kind of more of a sketch of the starters, the Winds and Wave starters. And honestly, I'm glad it's been a while since I did digital. I'm not gonna lie, it's been a hot set because I've been doing a lot of sketching in my sketchbook. So it's been a while. But yeah, I'm glad I was able to get this done. So we're actually gonna end things off a little early tonight because I'm not gonna lie, I'm feeling a little tired. But real quick, we're gonna go to the chatting real quick because I do want to talk about a few things. Let me I gotta turn this off, and then let me also let me just real quick do this. All right, thank you so much for joining. I really appreciate it. So real quick, I do want to do one quick last discussion. This is something I was actually going to do yesterday, but because my internet was acting up, I wasn't able to properly talk about this. So we are literally about to end February and entering March. So for January and February, one of the things I told myself, and this was something I think at the end of the day I actually really needed it, was I told myself not to focus on any projects for January and February, like projects as in like art related stuff, like stuff that I had plans. I told myself not to focus to anything on that, just because I wanted to kind of enter the new year, like I wanted to enter 2026 with the least amount of stress. And now that we're about to enter March, I'm gonna start working on those projects again. To give you guys a bit of like the TLDR about me, I work a day job. Actually, speaking of my day job, actually I can't do TLDR because I forgot I gotta explain this, but real quick, I work a day job. I work full-time, so I can only stream in the nighttime. Well, I live in Eastern time, so it's technically convenient for the West Coast or anybody beyond that, but like basically I'm not able during the weekday. I can't stream too long because, you know, I gotta go to sleep and wake up for work. But sorry about that. But just to let everybody know that speaking of my job, starting next week on Monday, I'm actually going to be entering my job a little bit later. It's not a huge difference, but that also, it shouldn't affect this kind of like the streaming schedule. It should, if anything, it should be a bit more convenient for me, but we'll see how things go. So another thing I wanted to let anybody know is that basically, to anybody that's new here, I try to stream at least 2 or 3 times a week, days, but on some occasions, VTube Studio's acting up, so sorry about that, folks. But on some occasions I do the weekends as well. Like I also try to stream on the weekends. Okay, VTube Studio definitely gets a little, I think it's because of like the internet, so I apologize. But yeah, all you need to know is that I usually tend to stream on the weekdays. If I'm in like a certain mood, I might, oh my god, I hate when it does this. No, it should be in the right thing. What? Okay, that's weird. I don't know what the fuck that happened. All right. But yeah, basically I stream 3 times a week. Usually it'll be on the weekday, but if I'm in a good mood, I'll do the weekend. So now that I'm gonna be working on a few projects starting in March, there might be a couple of weeks where I might have to take maybe like a week off from streaming. There might be a couple of weeks where I might have to only stream twice. I will say probably beginning of April. I'm not gonna stream for a week because I am planning a vacation for that time. But I do want to try to be more or less active in March. So yeah, if you are interested in any of my streams, I do want to try to start a playthrough because a lot of the games I played lately have been like one-offs. So I do want to try to kind of stick with a playthrough. I have a couple of ideas of games I want to do, and I think I'm gonna try to commit to them. And yeah, that's the plan. So sorry about that, folks. So yeah, thank you guys so much for coming by. Like I said, we're gonna be doing a short stream today, but you know what, I'm glad that I was able to commit to this week. And like I said, we'll see how next week goes, but thank you guys for joining in. And yeah, I will see you guys next week. Follow me on my social media accounts. To anybody that's new here, it should be on the description, or go to my about and you will find it. But I will catch you guys next week. Bye everybody. Bye bye.